What's up everyone, Clayton here, and today we're back with another Skyrim build. Today's build is called the Redeemer. The Redeemer is a Breton who hails from High Rock, and I'll give you guys some sort of backstory here. So he is from High Rock, and his father was a Vision of Stendarr. His father would go all around High Rock, taking out vampires, werewolves, and Daedra, much like the Vision of Stendarr do in Skyrim. His son, which is the Redeemer, didn't really want to follow that path. He wanted to study the arcane magics, and he wanted to become a mage. So he decided to leave his home village and head towards the Mages Guild. His father did not enjoy this very much because he wanted his son to follow in his footsteps. So a divide kind of became between them, and they weren't very friendly towards each other. When the Redeemer's village was under attack by Daedra, he ran back home to try to defend his village and his family. When he got back, all he saw was fire and burnt bodies. His father and his family were all slain by the Daedra. He went and tried to track down these Daedra to redeem his family and his honor. He killed the main Daedra, or the Demora Lord, you could say, and took his sword. And ever since, he has used that sword on his journeys to remind himself of what he has done and what he has to redeem himself for since he let his family and his village down. So that's a lot of backstory, but I'm trying to be better at backstory, and hopefully that was okay. But anyways, he pretty much wants to redeem himself, so he traveled around Skyrim, and from traveling around Skyrim, he's decided that he needs to help anyone who is in need, and especially take out the Daedra. So our build today is a mage, kind of a battle mage. You'll be using two-handed, destruction, alteration, enchanting, and restoration as your main skills. You won't be using armor since it's going to be a kind of a battle mage, so you'll be using robes. So for alteration, you want to make sure you have stability to keep your flesh spells on, because you'll be using that a lot. Destruction, you'll be using a lightning cloak since you are adept in the arcane magics. Two-handed, you'll be using a two-handed sword, which is a Daedric sword, which you picked off that Daedra that killed your family and your village. As well as you'll be using restoration to keep yourself alive, and enchanting to enchant your weapons and your robes. So this playstyle is pretty much a battle mage with light armor. There's kind of a slick slope when you talk about like battle mage and stuff, because people have different ideas. But this is gonna be a two-handed user that uses robes. So pretty much any set of robes would work, as long as you don't have any armor pieces, because alteration, there's perks in alteration tree that make your flesh spells do more blocking if you do not have any armor on. So make sure you have robes, and you have boots and gloves and maybe a circlet, but no armor at all. So yeah, I kind of talked about the playstyle, but you got to be pretty much running in with your two-handed weapon and your flesh spell and your lightning cloak on you. The lightning cloak will do damage around you, and the alteration flesh spell will help you stay alive. Since you are melee and in light armor, you also use the Become Ethereal Shout, which makes you invulnerable, but you cannot do damage as well. This is just kind of a spell to, or this shout is just useful to get around the battlefield. If you're getting killed and you need to get away, hide behind a rock or something, and get your flesh spell and some healing up, you can do that. Because on Master, it's going to be really difficult to be able to run this build properly, because you're going to get hit a lot, and you have no armor, and you only have the flesh spells to keep you alive. As you can see in like the gameplay here, it's a little bit difficult, especially since you don't really have much defense. And you can enchant your weapons and armor, or not armor, but robes, to make them a little bit better. Fire enchant on the Daedric sword is really nice to do some extra damage, as well as some alteration and destruction, reduction, magic cost, or whatever you want to call it, on any pieces you can. And maybe some health as well, since you'll need some health to stay alive. For the standing stone, I think you should probably use maybe the lover stone, because that way you can get your two-handed up and your mage skills up faster, or maybe even the tower stone, the lord stone, sorry. The lord stone, because it will give you armor and magic resist. And as a Breton, you already have a lot of magic resist, so mages shouldn't be that difficult for you to fight. And like I said earlier, shout you want to use is Become Ethereal. And for stats, you want to make sure you have enough health to stay alive, and enough magic pool to be able to cast healing and alteration spells as much as you like. So I hope you guys enjoy this build. I know it's kind of not the greatest build ever, but I'm trying, and you guys can leave comments down below if you guys want me to use your builds, but make sure you put in the comment if it's okay for me to use the builds, because I feel really bad making videos on your guys' ideas and then I monetize them, and then it's just kind of weird to me. So if you guys put a comment down below, make sure it says that I can use the build. If you want me to, if you just want to say your idea so everyone else sees it, go ahead. But if you want me to make a build out of it, you gotta tell me, because I feel bad making